Who remembers Angel Beats? This is an iconic anime from 2010 that came and went, but it is regarded as a must-watch for any anime fan. Brought to you by the same studio that brought us Clannad and Kanon, this series ran for 13 episodes and continues to have high ratings to this day. I'm here to have a little retrospective on the series, what I think of it, and why this show actually made me become an anime fan in the first place. The series revolved around a guy named Otanashi who finds himself in the afterlife, realizing that he's passed away in the other side of the world. Right there he comes across the rebellious Yuri, who has him join the SSS, or Afterlife Battlefront, a group of students who set out to rebel against God for the unfair circumstances they were given, especially with their early deaths. Their enemy is given the name Angel, who towards the end of the series has their real name revealed, Kanade Tachibana, but for the most part she is enemies with them until Otonashi steps in to become friends with her and later calming things down with the Afterlife Battlefront. Other characters include Hinata, who I'll always remember for his back and forth arguments with Yui, who is the biggest fan of Girls That Monster. By the way, that band gave us Lisa, so let's give credit where it's due. They also have a little arc of their own too, especially with the lead singer Iwasawa, whose story still hits hard to this day. That's the main thing about this series. The backbone of Angel Beats comes from the emotional impact of the backstories of many of these characters. This includes Yuri's sad story of her family being killed on sight, or Iwasawa's unexpected death when she was just starting to become a rising star, or Yui's wish to be loved by someone, which gets fulfilled by Hinata later in the series. A common complaint about shows like this is how emotionally manipulative they tend to be, but I believe it is what makes Angel Beats as unforgettable as it is. Firstly, the show is about death, and what happens to us when we pass on and look for answers in the meantime while we await to see if heaven or hell exists. Of course, you gotta expect a sad story here and there. It is part of these facts, and that's that. With the school as the epicenter in all this, it gives off a familiar environment and probably the most fitting place to finish off their childhoods and later get reborn once they fulfilled their last wishes. One gripe I do have about the show though is that it ran for 13 episodes. There's 2 OVAs after that, but with a cast as big as this and just so little time to go through them all, we are left with some unfinished business at the end of the day. Like, why couldn't we find out more about Kanade's sad backstory and how she died? What would have been the fate of most of the other side characters had they been given more time to develop? What would Otanashi have been up to after the series finale? Well, there does exist an alternate epilogue that tries to explain that to us, but it isn't nearly enough in my opinion to make up for the lost potential that would have made the show even better. Well, I come to find out that Angel Beats was meant to be around 26 episodes all along. Sometime during production, decisions were made to cut the episode run by half, and thus a lot of story cuts had to be done. Just imagine all the stuff they would have done with the extra time put in. After the series ended, creator Jun Maeda put together a visual novel adaptation called Angel Beats First Beat, which released in 2015. It had covered the series all the way up to episode 10, and was going to expand on the character routes with 6 volumes planned for this adaptation. However, they were cancelled, and much of the content was later told through a manga called Angel Beats The Last Operation, which followed Heaven's Door, which had finished its run not too long ago. A similar situation happened with Charlotte, which was Jun Maeda's second original project after Angel Beats, specifically with the studio PA Works. They had partnered in the first place after Maeda had saw their anime True Tears and felt inspired to partner with them to develop both Angel Beats and Charlotte, and later The Day I Became a God, which is underrated as hell by the way. The latter also had an issue where their series finale is infamous for speeding through loads of character development and time, thus this show is brushed off by many fans of Key who prefer to be nostalgic for Clannad instead, which I don't blame them. Characters are very easy to have your own emotions attached to them, so you want them to have the best storytelling and writing presented with them in mind. Now don't get it twisted, I still love Angel Beats for the universe they set up, the characters we are presented with, and the emotional impact that it left me. As I said in the beginning, this show is the reason I'm an anime fan today. Before I came across this show, I was under the impression that anime could either just be tough guys beating each other up or a bunch of fan service when you could just Google hentai instead. However, I was convinced with the entertainment I was presented with here that anime could be much more than that. And since then, I've come across so much unforgettable anime that I'm grateful to have come across, thanks to the Afterlife Battlefront. What are your thoughts on Angel Beats? Are you a fan of the show? Do you have any memories with it, or do you think it could have been better? Let me know your thoughts on the comments below, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.